Well, earlier when I made a fishing video, I showed you how to clean a bass. And I said that we would do a northern. As you can see, this is a fresh fish. All right. Just wait. So, when you have big northerns, they have Y bones. Northerns and muskies have Y bones in them, and you get small fish like this one here is around 22, I guess. He's going to, the Y bones are smaller, and you don't want to get those stuck in your throat. So, what you want to do, I'm going to show you how I fillet this fish so that there are no Y bones in it. So, nothing but meat left. So, the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that I have a full drink. You gotta have that. It's gonna take a while, but you see, he's a zippy little sucker, ain't he? All right, but you see on the side, maybe you can, I don't know, but you see how this is dark on the top? That's almost black, and that starts to change color right through here, and the sides get lighter. So what you want to do, first thing you do is cut the back. And you feel around up here, and there's the head. And so you're going to take the knife, and you're going to make a cut here, and you're going to make sure that your knife comes out on both sides. All right, you're cutting that. Oh, yeah. You're cutting the black part off, all right? So you can see the knife is coming out right where it changes color. And I'm doing the same thing on the other side. And we're just going to go right down the backbone. And you got to make sure your knife is sharp. Now, when you get back by the dorsal fin, you're going to want to... yeah, he's still got a little zip left. All right, we get that up. Now you can see we're getting a slab of meat here. And you want to angle the knife up just before the dorsal fin and cut it off like that. Now, what you have... I don't know how well you can see this. I'll get it a little closer. Right in here, once you get the skin off, you find that there's cartilage right down the middle of that, so we want to take that out of there, and you're going to wind up with 2 strips of meat, and I'll show you how to do that in a bit. But right now, I'm just going to cut it up so that you know how we're doing this. So the first thing you do is cut off the back meat, all right? That's going to end up being 4 pieces of meat. So, next thing I want to do is I want to get back here and we're going to cut off the tail section. Okay. Now right now, we're going to start right about there where we left off with the knife, and we're going to cut down to the anal fin. Like that. Okay, so we've got that cut. Now you want to get this tail section off. So we just take our little knife there and run it right down next to that dorsal fin and get that thing started. And alright, there's the backbone, found that. And we're going to run it on down just like you do with a bass. Okay, tilt the knife in a little bit toward the bone so that you get all the meat. And then you just keep on slicing and dicing here. Alright, there's some more backbone. Alright. Oops. I guess it's a bone or something. Alright. Now we want to cut out the anal fin. He ain't gonna need that anymore. lot of things you ain't gonna need. So now we have a tail section, alright? So we'll put that over there. Now we'll go over and we'll get the other one. Roll over, baby. Roll over, Beethoven. Whatever. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side. Take a knife. Just. The lakes are so full of these northerns up here in the Midwest that they actually are sort of a nuisance, especially this size. They're just all over the place. And you have to pay attention to your regulations because sometimes they have to be 26 and you can only keep 2. And sometimes it doesn't matter what the size is and you can take as many as you want. And so this guy happened to volunteer today. So he gets to do the cleaning video. Today is November 2nd. We're going to go fishing one more time, I think, and then we're going to put the boat away. The weather is getting cold. It was windy today. And boy, oh boy, it was something else. But now we're getting this cut. Ugh. There we go. Alright, so we're going to... Okay, now... Ugh. I'm trying to do this quickly, so I'm not quite as neat as I normally am, but anyway, we get that piece free, and now we're going to get this one. Run that knife right along next to the bone there. And now we have tail section number 2. Okay, now what we're going to do... Now we cut that piece of back mate off in the beginning. Well, my goodness, you still got a little bit of get up and go. Well, that won't last long. You can't see these, but what you do is you take your finger and you just run it across the back and you can feel these little bones sticking up out there. So what you want to do is you're going to take and cut them behind the gills. Cut them down the side there. Cut them right down the side. Okay. Now, I gotta find those bones again. There they are. You take the knife, put it on the outside of those bones, and run it along those bones. You can feel them with the tip of your knife, and you're gonna take and you're going to angle the knife inward toward the backbone because there are Y-shaped bones and they curve in toward the backbone. Alright, so you just want to run it on the outside of these little Y bones. And I got one here that's stuck. I missed one. Okay. Got it. So now, you gotta go down along the side like that. And you can just feel those little Y bones when you're running the knife through there. Keep it pointed in toward the backbone. Follow the little Y bones. And okay. You can hear the knife hitting those bones. Okay. Alright. So now... Okay. So now we're gonna, now that we've angled that in toward the backbone, that's a little difficult to see. I can see it. Luckily for me, I got the knife. Now we're just following the rib cage. Alright. And now we got to get this. Okay. Now we get to the good part. There are the guts. And we can see that this is a female. It's all full of eggs. Alright, there's that piece of meat there. You can see that these, all this yellow, these are all eggs. And so now, we're going to take and run our knife down the stomach. Go right in between these little pectoral fins. And, now I missed something there. Alright. And now you have the side meat, which is boneless, okay? Now this fin, you don't want that in there, so what you're going to do with that, you're going to take your knife here. There's a bone that's right about there. And you're going to cut that out of there. One thing you have to keep in mind is if you do a northern pike, they are very slimy and slippery, so there ain't nothing you can do about that, I guess, but I want to get this fin out of here so that we have a good piece of meat to work with. Whoops. I felt that. Gotta be careful. Alright, so now we have the fin, that's done, out of here. And now we end up with a piece of meat like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the skin off of this, and then we're going to cut it in half, so we'll have 2 pieces of meat out of that. Now, you just roll him over, or her, in this case. And you do have to do the same thing to the other side. So, cut him behind the gill. Close enough. Okay. And again, you're going to feel around for the little Y bones and take your knife on the outside. Start a cut. Use the tip of the knife to feel the Y bones. And then you just gotta run it down the side. Okay. Not having as good luck as I did on the other side. That must be because I'm half blind or something, I don't know. So the small fish is going to provide you with 8 pieces of meat when you're done. And if you fix this up with, a salad, vegetable, and have some bread or rice or corn or whatever, or potatoes, you can get a meal out of this. A couple, actually. So now we're getting it down. All those little Y bones are out of there. So now we're back down to the rib cage on this side. Okay. Okay, we got that going on. And now, once you get that taken care of, ouch. Gotta watch that knife. Alright. And again, now what we're going to do is take that little pectoral fin out of there. That's totally useless. Oh, God, this thing is slippery. And it's even more slippery when you have wet hands, you know, so. If I can grab that thing. Alright. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. You don't call him old slimy for nothing, I'll tell you. Jesus. I've got to be able to get at this somehow. There we go. Success. Yeah. Like anything with fishing, if you remain persistent, you will succeed. Alright, enough of that. So now I have another piece of side meat. The one thing when you're taking a skin off a northern, there he is. Oh, you've lost weight. Nice fish. Before you wrap this up and put it in the garbage, what you want to do is break the bone a couple times because it wraps up better. Now all the Y bones are left there, and I'm just going to do a quick example here on one of the tail sections because that's the easiest to do. And I'm going to just give you a little bit of a thing here on scales. Before I do that, it's important to have a drink to keep your strength up, right? Yeah. Now, these are really slimy, so what you want to do is start with the tail, angle the knife downward, cut it in a little bit, then flatten out the angle. You don't want to have too great of an angle on there because northerns have really thin skin compared to bass, and it's very easy. If you angle the knife too much, you will dig into the skin, and then that's on your fillet, and you don't want that on there. I mean, it's still, you could eat it, yeah, but you know, you'd rather not. So now when you get done, you have your fillet, no skin, ready to go in the sink, and then you can see what happened here. Left a little bit of meat, not much, but you can see on the shiny part I got it perfect there. The skin is off. You won't be needing that anymore. So that's how you're going to do all the rest of the pieces, and I'm going to stop the video here because it's going to take me a little bit of time to get the skin off the rest of those pieces. And when I get that all done, then I'll show you how we package it up. You know, in this particular instance, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook it in, 3, 4, 5 days or whatever, sometime this week. So I'm just going to throw it in water in a container and put it in the refrigerator. Otherwise, you can put it in water in a container. You can throw it in the freezer and do it later. But when you get the bigger northerns, the ones that are like 28 on up, the bigger ones, you would want to add a little salt to that because that takes that really fishy taste out, which which is really good. The smaller ones don't have it so much, so you don't have to worry about that. But adding some salt when you do the bigger ones, yeah, you'd want to do that. And then we clean the bigger ones a little bit different way. We leave the Y bones in because the bigger fish have bigger Y bones. They're very easy to pick out when you're eating it. So anyway, this is part 1 on boneless northern pike. So we'll be back with the second segment after I get the skin off. Alright, here we are with the second part of this ordeal. As you noticed in the beginning of the video, I laid out all these newspapers and we're left with a pile of fish guts now. So what we want to do is clean this mess up. This always works fairly well. So we'll see. Fold it over. Fold it over. Okay. And you take your fish gut. You have to remember there's bones in there. So you want to give them a little extra muscle. And then you just wrap them all up like that. And there you have a nice package of fish guts. Slap a little masking tape on that bad boy. And she's all packaged and ready to go. What I do is I put this down in the downstairs freezer. It keeps the fish guts frozen so they don't stink when you take out the garbage. But now we're going to get over and look at our fillets and see what happened. One of them didn't come out very well, so you'll have to excuse me. Well, let me get the camera planted here. Oh, where is it? Oh, there we are. Almost see that. Yeah, that ain't bad. Okay. As you can see right here, I've got my little plastic container that we're going to put the fish into because I plan on frying this a little later. But now you remember the back meat we cut off? Well, what we wound up with, whoa, slippery. What we wound up with is 2 strips. Well, they're kind of a pain to fry them like this, so what I want to do is I want to take my knife here and I want to cut them in half, approximately, like that. Put them in the thing. And do the same thing with this other side. Now we got 2 pieces. And of course, the tails don't need any cutting, so we'll just throw them in there. And now you got your 2 sides. This is one side here. And we're going to cut this thing in half too because it'll be easier to fry. So we just slice that apart. Now we got 2 side pieces with no Y bones on them. This one here didn't turn out so good. It looks like a piece of hamburger. I was in a hurry and I don't know. But it'll still fry up. Now you see here, whoops, I'll put that one in there. You see on this one right here, I didn't do so good. You can see that little piece of meat right there, that skin. So I'm going to try and cut that off of there because we don't want that on that. No, 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 no. Alright. History. Well, it looks like it looks like it went through a war, but so hey, I got most of it right, okay? So now that you got your fish in there, it's all set to go. We're going to put some water in that, cover it up, throw it in the refrigerator. So now all we have to do is clean up our knife a little bit, get all the fish guts and scales off of it. Good enough for next time. And we are done. Drain the sink, clean up the mess, put that in the refrigerator, and that's complete. Now you have pieces of northern pike with no Y bones. So there are probably other ways of doing it, but this is how I do it. So this will give you something to go by, right? So anyway, I guess that's going to conclude it because we're all done here, right? Happy fishing and happy cleaning fish.